Oh, I've just come across a video about the presidential libraries, and this was coming at the time of the Obama Trump transition. Um, so, presidential libraries are a concept that I understand began with Franklin Roosevelt, and it's something that I've always been interested in ever since I came across them 2 or 3 years ago. Um, and one of my ambitions is to visit every single one. I'd love to go to the United States for one sort of prolonged holiday over, say, a month or something like that, primarily just to visit these presidential libraries because I think they would be fascinating. From what I've seen of them, there is a lot of money invested in them, so they really make an effort to document history. That they're not sloppy museums with that kind of ramshackle. They're impressive projects. And I think it's a great way to document history. But the interesting thing about these presidential libraries is they are, I think, pretty candid, pretty transparent, because they don't tend to gloss over, at least from some of those that I have seen, they don't tend to gloss over the more controversial or ugly aspects of a presidency. For example, the Richard Nixon Library fully documents Watergate. The FDR Library is now documenting Japanese internment during World War II. I think that's very important to show to show transparency, to show that they're not just kind of marble pillars of sycophantic worship of these men, but just historical projects showing every aspect. The Ronald Reagan Library shows many cultural traits of the 1980s that are not directly connected to the man himself, but are a testament to the time in which he served. Of course, there's going to be focus now on the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library. I imagine he's going to be laid to rest on the complex there at College Station in Texas. Um, yeah, I just find them very interesting. We don't really have an equivalent in the UK. The only one that comes close is the Churchill Cabinet War Rooms, which I haven't been to, but which are highly renowned. But that's the only really one. I mean, even other famous prime ministers like Gladstone and Lloyd George, there's really nothing to testify to their legacy. There might be statues, there's the occasional blue plaque, but we don't really have an equivalent in the UK that are specific museums for specific leaders. And I think that's maybe a pity. I like the idea of presidential libraries. Now, they are not exhaustive. It isn't every single president. There's 14, as I understand. So, there's no presidential library for Rutherford B. Hayes or Benjamin Harrison, but even they have sort of historic sites. So even the less known presidents still have something documenting their tenure. I think it's very important for cultural reasons, for historic reasons, and I think it's important that they are transparent, that they show warts and all. And I'd love to visit them. I think they're fascinating places, and yeah, let me know to my American viewers if you've been to any of them and what you think. Because my impression as an outsider is they look very interesting. I'd love to visit them. I wonder what the sort of admission costs are, if they're expensive or if they're, quite flexible in that sense. I also like the architectural side of them. They don't all look the same. They're all unique. I mean, the Reagan Library is very impressive. It has Air Force One, the very Air Force One that was used by various presidents. Which reminds me, I'm going to watch the thriller tonight, Air Force One, with Harrison Ford. But that's, not here or there. Yeah, let me know your thoughts if you've been to any of these presidential libraries. What's interesting is sitting presidents, as they're nearing the end of their tenure, tend to, or at least their staff tend to focus on what is going to go into that library, what sort of things. So, it's a very interesting thing. Let me know your thoughts.